Hi, I'm Paul Alvear.
And I'm Matt Strout.
Welcome
to Relentless Fitness and Training.
Guys, welcome back to another edition over here of supporting local small businesses for Small Business Saturday. It's coming up. So one of my favorite people on the planet are sitting right here. We got Paul and we got Matt of Relentless Fitness. For people out there, we want to start off by saying, who is Relentless Fitness?
Relentless Fitness is it's an overall human development-based movement. So it embodies the whole human, mental, physical, and emotional. You know, bringing people in, assessing where they are in this given moment of their life, understanding them as a person, so digging into their past a little bit to understand who they are, where they come from, their why, what makes them tick. And then taking a chance to get to understand where they want to go. What is this new vision of themselves that they want to be in? And then for us as leaders and our team, I take a lot of pride in our team here. We embody these people, we bring them in, and we focus on eliminating any possible reason why they would quit, give up, or deter from achieving that ultimate best self. And we use all different tools and tactics that we've created throughout this journey. We've been on this journey for the better half of almost 12 years total, from the beginning.
Right.
And now we're just going one day at a time, and I think it comes down to embodying the culture behind it.
Right.
That's where we're at. So it's about us being the best versions of ourselves and leading by example to our team and to our people.
What I love about what you guys are saying here, and Paul, I obviously want to get your take on it too, but what I love about what you guys do, it's so different from other gyms, right? It's not just like you're going, you're working out, you leave and come as you please, or people they start off January 1st and then never come back. So you said a lot of great stuff, and I think that obviously you're fundamentally changing the way that people are looking at gym and connecting mental, physical goals, things of that nature. But so Paul, how have you guys been able to change that stigma? Because I think when you look at gyms, typically it's almost like a single, it's not a team sport. People look at it as I'm gonna go work out myself, get out, leave. This is different here, right? It's community. So how has it been building that? And has it been a challenge over the past 12 years? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, first off, I think you hit the nail on the head. Is we've from the beginning had our mindset, and our goal was to create that community, a real community, a true community, people that work out next to real people, that work with real people, and not just worry about numbers, and not just worry about what the price is or what the cost is in the moment. Obviously, it's all relevant, but creating that tight-knit community and that unity in between everybody, to know that when you do need to get better physically, you have this person to go to, and when you do need to get better mentally and emotionally, you have these people to go to. You have people in your corner in all four corners, right?
Totally.
In all four corners of this ring we're in right now, we have that ability to do that within our community. I think that's the most important thing. It's been challenging at times, but that's the fun part, and that's why we do what we do.
Right.
That's what we love about it, is the competitive part of really every day when we wake up in the morning, from Matt and I all the way down through our team, knowing that we're taking on something that's bigger than us. You know what I mean? And we're trying to recreate and do something different and not normal, and make it about the person and not about how much it costs a month, but not how many times you show up a month. We know we hold people accountable, and it's important to us to how many days a week, what's being put inside and outside of our facility.
I love that. What have been some of the biggest challenges for you guys since starting? And for the other small business owners out there that have seen you guys, again, almost 12 years in business is great, right? Most small businesses fail within the first 1 to 3 years in business. What do you guys think is the core ingredient that has kept you going and will keep you going?
I think grit, competitive, culture, right? I think it comes back to when we started this, we were 18, 19 years old. Right? So what we had was passion. We loved working out. We loved feeding off each other. All of our friends played different sports, but we always met to train together, right? Totally. So we'd meet outside, tires, sledgehammers, just run in, feeding. It was just like our crew of friends. So I think coming from that hard work ethic, competitive backgrounds in our families as well, right? It's in our nature. I think we got into it knowing that that's what we wanted to do. We want to be around people, we want to pick people up, we want to create, we want to use our passion to bring that out in others and to guide them in our space of physical fitness, right? Then we got into entrepreneurship, which is a whole separate animal.
Right.
And we were, whether we were ready, not ready, whatever it is, I think we all think maybe we're ready until you get in there.
Totally.
And it's the jungle, I call it the jungle, right? So I think the jungle, our willingness to not give up and to be gritty and tough and to have that work ethic allowed us to never get eaten alive out there, right? So we had no idea about running a business, but we were competitive and passionate.
Right.
And I think we just took the lumps. We got down, I can't even tell you how many times we got knocked down, but I know we got up every single time, right? So and we assessed, we sat, and we're like, okay, that didn't work. So what are we gonna do differently? What should we shift? And it's been that teammanship, that camaraderie back and forth of just never giving up and looking to constantly grow and evolve, And I think entrepreneurship, if you never give up, it's one of the greatest relations to life. It's forever challenging, it's ups, it's downs, it's innovation, it's connecting with good people. Like there's so many things that could go with just life.
Right.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful, beautiful journey, but it's definitely not for everyone. It's hard, it will challenge your deepest soul, and that's I think where the shift for us, I think as we grew as entrepreneurs, we realized how this embodies the whole human. So we have a sign on the wall that says we train for life.
Right.
We talk a lot about embodying the whole human, mental, physical, and emotional. I think that's directly correlated to our personal endeavor journey of entrepreneurship and wanting to find this result that we're striving to get, but then realizing of what it was going to take for us to get there. And now we embody it every day, and it's who we are. We love it. We look forward to it. We know how to show up and go to war every day.
I love it. I love it.
Jungle, baby.
Give me some of the challenges, Paul, you guys faced throughout the pandemic.
Yeah.
So many of the small business owners, obviously this Small Business Saturday that we're presenting this for, there's so many businesses that didn't make it through the pandemic. Some businesses that barely made it with their shirt. And then there's others that have thrived through it, right? What were some of the challenges that you guys faced? And then also, what did you guys do to keep pushing forward?
Great question. So to start off, we in that moment, what we realized was that a lot of the challenges that we faced earlier on in our business and entrepreneurial journey, especially the moment as Matt refers to, where we committed and realized and recognized and owned up to the fact that this isn't just about running a gym, right? It's about helping people, it's about building people, it's about life and taking on the training for life and growing for life. And all those things that we did in those moments from that point up until the pandemic, honestly, it made it a lot smoother and simpler for us to face those challenges that we did during the pandemic. So I'm not saying there wasn't challenges during that time, especially from March 15th all the way till the new year, till 2021. But those challenges, we absorbed them a lot better because we were well prepared from everything, from back end stuff to having our employees in great positions because we set our business up the correct way. From having a plan for our members because of the way that we operate over the last 4 or 5 years and truly every coach dedicated themselves to these members that they brought in. It was so simple and easy for us to say, hey, listen, we're all fine, we're all good right now in the moment. We did everything we need to do as a business to be okay financially, emotionally. We had a strong team, and now we're in a perfect position to still take care of these people and deliver to them maybe when their backs are against the wall. So the last thing that we wanted anybody to have to worry about was paying a gym membership or paying a Relentless membership when who knows what's going on in their life at this time, right? So that's the least we could do, but we were well prepared for that. And I think, again, to directly answer your question, the challenges that we did face was financial decisions for our people. The decision for now that was going to pay off later. And it's probably one of the hardest things to do, but I believe as a team and as a movement, from us to our members, everyone made unbelievable tough decisions look easy.
Wow, that was so well said. I'm gonna cry. No, that was so fucking well said, dude. And I think one of the things that people don't realize, and it's so important, anybody out there that's watching this right now that's an entrepreneur or a business owner just starting, is the fact that when you're just starting and you're bumping against the guardrails in the beginning and you don't know what you're doing and you're figuring shit out, right? Like we both have when we both started. that becomes experience, right? You just put that in your pocket, right? It's a Harvard education right there. Just boop, boop, boop. And so at the end of the day, when things like that happen, you're like, oh shit, I got to pull out that old John, that old Matt, that old Paul, right? To get ready to go, to get lean as fuck, to do whatever I got to do, right? And I think there's such a value behind that. And that's why I don't know any business, at least me personally, whether it's the Apples of the world or a very successful restaurant or gyms or whatever, I don't know one that didn't start off and bump and fuck up a couple things and figure it out as they go, right? So I think that during the pandemic, that's one of the things that I witnessed, is that a lot of the people had to go back to the beginning where it's like, why am I doing this, right? Because one of the things I always tell people is, as an entrepreneur, if you're not willing to do what you're doing for free, you're not doing the right fucking thing. Like I woke up every day when I first started this, when I started my company, with like, yo, I will do this every day for the rest of my life. Like, if I could do this, so if I could just pay my bills off and do this and not make any money, like I'm fine. Like that's it. But once you have that passion and you have that fire in you, you'll do anything.
And
right?
It will test you. It did test us. It did test us
100%.
over and over again, especially during the pandemic.
Totally, and that's the thing. Like so many people out there watching this, like, again, you both have beautiful children and wives and families now. So like when you're put into a position where it's like, well, there's a pandemic, people aren't making money, they might be laid off from their jobs, they might be furloughed. You don't know what's going on in the world. Not only are you trying to figure out how to protect obviously the company, but your clients, your members, but then also your own families, right? And how am I going to set myself up for success? So that's why it's like, and this whole situation, don't get me wrong, I'm coming out of this whole pandemic as a business owner, viewing clients in 20 countries that weirdly enough all went through the same things in 20 countries at once. It's never happened before.
That's the kind of cool part.
Right.
I hate to
That's
say
what, that's what I'm getting to.
right,
That's what I'm alluding to, is the fact that like, there's never been any business that has ever experienced this before. Even if you were in the Great Depression, right? You've never experienced this on a global effing level, right? So the fact that you guys made it through it, right? The fact that most of the companies out there that did, and even if you didn't, you learned something, right? What do I have to do better next time? So there's a lot to take away from it. Now, for the people out there who don't know Relentless that are watching this right now, what are the essential offerings that you guys have to come in here, and from the one-on-ones to the groups? Like, talk about what you guys offer.
Well, I want to add one thing before I answer that. I would like to say this because you mentioned it, and I like to say it. I like to say that we are like the Apple of fitness, right? You call out Apple. I respect Apple a lot. Okay, they didn't necessarily recreate something, but they took something and they recreated the delivery of it. The littlest details. You open an Apple product, it's like a thing. Like you sit there and you open it. I respect when you open it to the little, because it's the little details, right? It's the innovation. So we're doing the same things that everybody are doing, but we've taking a step back to assess the whole process of the human interaction, from the beginnings of them thinking about wanting to make a major change. This is a big decision for humans, right? Huge. So when they're ready to do it, what's going to be the process at which they feel from the beginning until the rest of their life, right? And how do we stay innovative? How do we stay fresh? How do we stay relatable? How do we, how do we do all these things? So I think in our mind, from the beginning, it was always about taking the game over. Right. So I wish nothing but success on everybody, but the reality is business is competitive and it's hard. It's raw, it's not for everybody. Right. So I think in our minds, it was different to watch, because in my own mind, I've been in a pandemic for 12 years. Right. I've been figuring this out with back against the wall. So when it happened, it was almost like, okay, everybody's here now. Let's kind of see, let's take a deep breath, right? So for Paul and I, it was the first time over 12 years where they say you're always working in the business or on the business. We were doing them both constantly, right? So when we took that first step back, Paul and I took a deep breath. And it was actually a beautiful moment, because it allowed us to assess where we were. What have we done? Where are we in this given moment, and where do we actually want to go now? Because with this downtime, we're not just going to go through it. We're gonna grow through this moment. We're going to evolve, and we dedicated all of our time to ourselves, our team, your team, right? We invested, right? So we invested time, energy, and effort, and financially we invested it. People thought we were crazy. I said, no, this is the time. What I do now is going to affect us 3, 4, 5 years down the road. We invested in you guys and your amazing team, right, to level us up in where the world was going anyway, which is more digital. So a lot of hard decisions. I think it's all about the power of perspective and how you perceive things. But I just wanted to add that. So back to the question.
Yeah, I'll highlight our star services. So that was right on the money. I'm glad he added that in. on the service level, we we start with a one-on-one personal training for all different ages, all different levels. We have a variety of coaches in the team that we really pride ourselves in delivering that service one-on-one, and we call it our white glove service, really hands-on and through the whole journey, always in touch, phone call away, as well as just in person, a couple feet away, training and working someone through whatever they need to physically.
Phone call, text too.
Yeah,
you guys text too.
Yeah, we're big communicators. We have a lot of different ways, throughout. We've been bringing a lot of our team members on our podcast to get their voices out there, so people can really connect with them on that personal level. So we have personal training at our largest investment level, and that's in forms of whether it's one-on-one boxing, whether it's one-on-one weightlifting, whether it's a mix of everything. We offer a lot of things within those services as far as ways to get yourself better. And then at the entry level, it's really that small group. We have people that drop in for a lot of our small group classes, whether it be boxing or relentless conditioning. And that's just, anywhere from, at max 8 people. We've been trying to keep it a little tighter. It was something, again, we learned out of the pandemic that we really want ourselves to be very exclusive, very custom. So, we want to stay in that range we held on to that range of smaller groups. You just get a lot more one-on-one attention. So that, again, comes in the form of boxing, which goes on around this ring that we're in right now. And conditioning is done in different sections as well as outdoors. So we just keep those two as a small little variety, but those conditioning small group classes are, body weight, it could be weighted, whatever. Our coaches are trained and they're taught to assess the situation, assess the people that are in front of them, and do what's best for them in those moments. And then in the middle, we have just our overall membership. We have a couple of different levels of our membership, depending on how many days a week your program is designed for. And that is supervised training. That is our Relentless membership. We don't have any just walk-in access where anyone just comes in and works out on their own. But at the same time, we do have great relationships with our supervised training members where we, for some members, we design, as far as energy towards their program, it's 50-50. For some, it's 100-0. They say, hey, we trust you completely. We just want to come and put in the work. Some say, hey, these are some things I want to do and work on, but we help balance that relationship and connection. And again, with supervised training, we are always there for you. So that coach that designs your program is always there to answer questions, add or adjust your program, add or take away things from it, as well as we always have a coach on the floor that is helping those members receive that service and complete their program, whatever day. So from 6 a.m. until 8 p.m. when we close, we have a coach on the floor to help them with that service.
That's amazing. That's amazing. What are you waiting for?
Yeah, and then as of recently, we've really been tapping into the remote world. So virtual. That's something in the pre-pandemic. It was a lot with college students. It was a lot with when these kids are with us for a couple years in high school. They go away to college and they're a little lost. They walk into that big fitness center out there. They don't know what to do. They go on the treadmill for a little and they head back to their dorms. So we probably have like 20 plus, which is a lot, growing outside of our membership right now that are remote type members, but it's also started to expand to the general public too. People that were far away during the pandemic and their facilities were shut down completely, reached out to us and have stayed with us throughout, from California to New York, to South Jersey, Pennsylvania, colleges all over the world, Arizona, wherever you want to call it, and as well as just the general public as too, not just college students. So
love that. Now this is the part where you guys plug yourself. Where can people find you? Website, social, the whole thing. Podcast.
Yeah, so we got, the list keeps growing, which is great because that means we're getting out there to more people. So relentlesstraining.com, powered by Adapting Social. Beautiful site. We're always getting it better, always improving it. That's our landing page. That's the first thing people see when they go search that World Wide Web.
Face of the company. Face of the company.
So we have that. We have our Instagram is Relentless Training. Our Twitter is Relentless Train. We have our Facebook, Relentless Training, Relentless Fitness and Training, search it that way. Our podcast is on Spotify. It is on Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts. It is on Amazon Music, and that is the Relentless Way podcast. Really started from our discussion groups that we would have in-house. Another thing that was really inspired post-pandemic, and really, the final push was from this guy over here. When we came to his podcast, he said, go and do it, guys. Start your podcast up.
Get out there.
And that's the Relentless Way podcast. We just talk about everything the relentless way. So
I love it. You guys are amazing. Great energy, great intentions, and I'm excited to continue to see the growth here, guys. Anybody watching this, give them a follow, give them a shout, and if you want to take what you're doing to the next level, give these two guys a call. And thank you guys so much for doing this.
Thank you so much, always,
I appreciate
John.
the both of you.
Appreciate
sure,
you.
thank you, John.